Hello and welcome back to another episode of Loud and Opinionated. I am your host, Jake Williams, and I'm pretty excited to talk about this. This is not college football related. I know it's hard to believe the last few episodes have all been about college football. And for those of you that liked those episodes and gave me feedback saying you like when I do those things, I do appreciate it. And I do like making that kind of content. But for right now, I want to talk about something different and do something a little bit different because I think the most important thing is I don't want one topic to dominate Loud and Opinionated. I want to have a variety of topics, and I want to make it more fun and interesting for people that might not like college football or like sports. I want to include everybody in this. So yeah. If you love college football and love those, thank you. If you're not into video games, I totally get it. You know, you don't have to listen to this episode. I would love for you to do it. I mean a lot, but you don't have to. So anyway, the Game Awards happened last night, and I'm not going to give a recap of the Game Awards. For those of you that really care about that, you've seen it. Me personally, I'm not into it. I'm just not really into award shows in general. And it's, could be the Emmys, could be the Oscars, could be the Game Awards. I'm just not into award shows. And nothing against it. And, if you like it, if you're into that stuff, great. I think the Game Awards is actually good for the gaming industry, and I'm not disparaging at all. It's just not something I prefer to watch. You just look at the highlights on Twitter because everybody tweets about this stuff, so I can just find out winners that way, and that way I don't have to watch 3 or 4 hours of an award show. Again, nothing against it if you like it. Don't misconstrue that. I think Jeff Keighley does a great job, and I think there are a lot of good things to come from the Game Awards. In fact, this whole episode is dedicated to all the great game announcements, or at least the ones that I really enjoy and the ones that I'm actually excited about. So let's jump right into it. The first one that caught my eye, and this is one of the things I hate about when you have a product on the internet, and I understand that it's a situational thing. You can't control what happens and what goes on when you're creating a game and you're trying to get it out to market, but this one kind of got leaked. Well, it did get leaked before the show, and that is Far Cry New Dawn. I'm surprised by this because of the quick turnaround. How do I say this? I'm not as surprised as I would be if it were somebody else. The fact that it's Ubisoft, it is a large company. They've got a ton of different development houses. So it's not that I didn't think it was possible. It's just I never imagined this happening. I don't think we've seen that big of a turnaround for a Far Cry game since maybe Far Cry 4 to Far Cry Primal. So this is an interesting take, and I just love the fact that this, rather than what they usually do for the series, this is a continuation. This is sort of like a standalone spinoff, but it's a continuation of Far Cry 5's story, which I think is very interesting because I played the crap out of Far Cry 5. That was one of my games of the year, and you'll find out more about that coming very soon to loudandopinionated.com. We'll give you my favorite games, the best games of 2018, according to me. That's definitely in the list. Yeah. I remember when that game came out, it came out at the right time for me. I didn't have a lot of schoolwork going on, and work was slow, so as soon as I got home, I was right into it. I jumped right in, and I went all about Hope County, Montana. I think it's because it was in America. I think it has that Americana feel to it. I mean, the fact that you're just tearing up and going around Montana was awesome. And then they add this. I loved the setup, and I loved the story about it, where it's like you're going up against a cult leader and this religious cult, and the political aspect of it. I'm glad that it didn't go as political as people wanted it to. There was just so much about Far Cry 5 that I really liked. And I loved being in that little time and space. And I mean, I played the crap out of Far Cry 5. So I'm very, very happy that New Dawn is going to take the ending, whether you liked it or not. It's taking the end of Far Cry 5, and it's going a whole new direction with it. And I'm more than on board for this. I think this is awesome. And I love the idea of the setting. I'm not so set on what they're really doing. I love the idea that we're coming back to Hope County. I love the idea that we're continuing Far Cry 5. But this is set 17 years after the ending of Far Cry 5, and we're going to have our first ever post-apocalyptic Far Cry game. And that's where I kind of set off a little bit of alarms, because as much as I loved Far Cry 5 in playing in Hope County, I'm afraid that Far Cry New Dawn is going to get buried under Rage 2 and Fallout, and well, not 76, but like a Fallout type game, Rage 2. There's a lot of post-apocalyptic games out there, and I think what Far Cry, to me at least, had over those was the fact that it wasn't set in a desolate place. It was still modern times, and you're rip-roaring through a map that isn't, ravaged by a nuclear war. I'm not saying this game can't be successful. I'm actually thinking the opposite. I think it will be a successful game, and a lot of people will enjoy it. I'm just a little worried about the direction and the choice to go with the nukes dropped, and we're in a post-apocalyptic setting. I don't know how this is going to feel about Far Cry 6. I imagine they're just going to say this is oh man, I can't think of them. It's the Peggy universe. That's what this is. If you play Far Cry 5, you know what I'm talking about. This is the Peggy universe. It's just going to keep going on that direction, and Far Cry 6 is its own thing. I hope that's what they do. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. But I just hope that Far Cry just doesn't become another post-apocalyptic open world game. Because then if they keep making more games like that, even with the name, I feel like it's still going to get buried underneath everything. I like the choice with the two black female leads. I think it's going to continue the tradition that they started in Far Cry 3, where the villain is on the cover and the villain gets the most time. I think it was kind of obvious with that trailer that these two girls are going to be the badasses that you don't like. I love the ending of the trailer with the tease of father. So is he a good guy now? Did he turn over a new leaf because he says things are different and it's not what he was talking about? It's not what he planned. So is he going to be a good guy? I don't know how they're going to work that in, but I like that he's still included with it. I wonder if you had a save in Far Cry 5, if you can carry that over to Far Cry New Dawn. That would be awesome. There's a lot there to get me excited to play this game, and I'm definitely going to pick this up and play it as soon as it comes out. And I'm really excited for the future of where the Peggy universe is going in Far Cry. But again, I really hope that they don't just keep going post-apocalyptic, because that, and then it's just like everything else, and I don't want it to do that. I swear to God, I cannot get comfortable when I'm not recording. Or I can only try and do this. Like this won't be an issue until I record. So next up on the games that I really liked and I was really excited about, there were other announcements. Again, this is all according to me. And if you have other ones that you were excited about that I didn't talk about and you wonder why, feel free to have those exchanges with me. I love having those conversations. But next up for me, it's The Outer Worlds. We got teasing about it, a couple days before, as you usually do with these kind of things. Obsidian had talked about they were going to talk about their brand new IP that they were making that was completely theirs, and they finally released it. It's called The Outer Worlds. And I got to say, this looks really, really cool. I really dig the direction that they're going in. So from what I gathered from it, it's going to be like a traditional RPG that they usually make, but it's kind of got a different take to it. It's a little bit, for me, it looks like a mixture of the humor and the kind of art style of Borderlands, and it very much feels like it's going to have maybe more of a humorous co-op mentality to it, so it's giving it more of a Borderlands vibe, but it still also very much feels like the guys that made Fallout, so it still has the Fallout feel, it still has that dark, gringy, gray-colored worlds, and I love the fact that it's in space. I'm wondering if, because it's called The Outer Worlds, we're going to get to go to other planets and kind of explore around space. I think that's freaking rad if they do that, because that's one of the things I love so much about what I saw with, that's why I love Mass Effect so much, is because that idea that you're going to other planets, you're talking to other species, you're building relationships in other areas. And I kind of hope that is used in the other worlds, because I could already tell just based on the trailer that I was really digging on what they're doing with these characters. The dialogue was funny, the interactions were funny, and it looks different. So it doesn't look like it takes itself way too serious, which is something that I wanted to see from Obsidian because, Fallout can be goofy, but for the most part, there's a lot of serious. The IP itself takes itself very seriously. So I wonder how they're going to change it up. And granted, this isn't a Fallout game, so they can do whatever the hell they want. I'm acting like it's Fallout: The Other Worlds. No, it's its own game, so they can do whatever they want and they can create the world that they want. And I'm very much hoping they lean more towards a Borderlands style RPG where it's humorous, has a lot different aspects to it, and there's a bunch of different wacky characters, and your character, can the skill trees that you want and everything else. I did find it interesting that they just said 2019. They didn't give a release date. I don't get upset about when games do that. I mean, Far Cry New Vegas. I can't keep talking about Obsidian because I keep making Far Cry and Fallout. The Fs. Far Cry New Dawn had a release date, February 15th of 2019. Other Worlds just says 2019. I'm okay with that. If you really think you can hit that date, good for you, Far Cry. But I love it when a game just says it's 2019. We're not quite sure when it's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to be fall or the spring. It's just coming. And that's okay. I want them to take as much time as possible. I'm very interested on what they do with this series because, let's be honest, I imagine they're trying to build a franchise out of this. And I think there could be enough hype behind it. I'm wondering what they're going to show at E3 because I feel like this was just a little nibble, and then we're going to see a lot of fun stuff at E3. Also, interesting thing, so clearly this game was way done with development before Microsoft acquired them because they're still releasing this game on PS4, which is kind of a bummer if you're an Xbox guy because you're like, well, we got this brand, this big name, this important studio, but they're still, much like We Happy Few, they're still going to release it on another console on the PlayStation. So I'm wondering how that's going to work going forward. If they do make a franchise, what's going to work for them. I can't wait. I'm excited. I was hoping to get hooked right away with that trailer, and I did.
Bad.
All right. Now, this is the last game, and I'll talk about some other ones, but this is the last one that really excited me. Mortal Kombat 11. It exists. I mean, I'm sure most of us thought that this was going to happen. This is usually the cycle. It was Mortal Kombat Injustice, then Mortal Kombat X, Injustice 2. Now we have Mortal Kombat 11, which figure out your numbering scheme, Ed Boon, because you never said it was Mortal Kombat 10. You just kept saying it was Mortal Kombat X. Now you make a sequel. Now it's Mortal Kombat 11. But Mortal Kombat 9 is Mortal Kombat. Fix your numbering out. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not that upset about it. I thought it was a nice animated trailer, much like what they did with MKX. They do a cinematic CGI trailer that is going to look nothing like the game, like gameplay wise. Like that's a very cinematic approach. Somebody pointed out on YouTube when I was looking through, somebody said in the comments that there were a bunch of different bodies of Scorpion when he was fighting Raiden, which is interesting. So are they saying that like there's just multiple versions of each fighter? Is that like the skin idea? I don't know. It just seems like a weird theory. And I don't know if that's the direction that NetherRealms is going to go in. As much as I like that trailer, we have to talk about it. That 21 Savage song does not fit the trailer at all. It was not a good choice. I don't listen to 21 Savage, nor do I care about 21 Savage. I just thought the use of this music in this trailer was just weird, and I felt very out of place. It would have been much better with an instrumental. Or it's just the energy. I saw that a lot of the YouTube comments, and I agree with it. The energy of this song was just off. It didn't feel like a Mortal Kombat song. It was weird. Maybe 21 Savage is a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and good for him that he got a song in the trailer, but it just did not fit at all. So it looks like the ending of Mortal Kombat X is going to carry over to Mortal Kombat 11, which I'm not surprised. This is the timeline we're working with here. But it looks like Raiden is the bad guy now. Like, they kind of teased it at the end of Mortal Kombat X that Raiden was going to be the big bad. But based on this trailer, and again, this is just a cinematic trailer. Could have nothing to do with the story. I mean, MKX was just a Sub-Zero Scorpion fight. Really had nothing to do with anything. But just the character model itself looked like a bad dude. Like, he had the red eyes, he had the black armor. He looked like a bad guy. So I'm just wondering, so we're going to go full tilt, Raiden's a bad dude, which I'm totally for. Because Raiden made some real dumb choices in the last few games, and I feel like he was already on that path to being a villain. So I'm all for it. Let him be the bad guy. And the last thing I want to address, and I hate this about NetherRealm Studios, because in a sense, they are the ones who kind of created the whole season pass model, where it's, hey, we're making DLC to keep supporting this game, so buy the season pass now. It's, whatever price, and we'll go from there, and you can get all these things. That's not what bothers me. It's what bothers me is right at the end of this trailer, they tag it with, oh, you can pre-order and get Shao Kahn, just like you could do with Goro. It's like, and it's this, and I guarantee you, it's the same pre-order situation where he is already on disc, he's already in the game, and I have to go through a paywall to get him. I hate when NetherRealm does that. I don't like that. I'm someone who's very much against loot boxes and stuff like that, and I don't mind paying for DLC if the DLC isn't done yet. If the DLC, if it's saying, hey, this is your investment, we're working on, a character pack, I'll pay for that because that's months away or whatever. But to have Shao Kahn already be there for a pre-order bonus, that means he's already in the game. And they did the same thing with Goro, and they did the same thing with Darkseid, I believe, in Injustice 2. I just don't like it when NetherRealm does that. I think it's such a lame BS tactic to get more money out of people. And then the character itself is like $5. Just have him in the game. Just have faith that we're going to keep playing your game. We can unlock him, and then we'll buy the character. It's just such a weird scheme to get more money out of someone. And NetherRealm has a problem with doing this. They did it a lot with Mortal Kombat X. And I think they get away with it because we like those games so much. But at a certain point, we got to say, hey, man, just stop with the BS. Okay? Just give us the game we want. Give us the characters we don't want, and they'll make us spend extra money. That's all I'm saying. So those are the 3 game announcements that. Okay, those are the 3 game announcements that I was very much excited about. I know there was a ton of other ones. I was surprised by the Epic store, the PC store that Epic Games has that's supposed to rival Steam. I was surprised that they launched it last night. They had only announced it, I think, on Tuesday, and they already were launching it and going with it, which I'm totally into. I like it when games do that. Also, I got to give a shout out to all 3 games that I mentioned said that they were coming in 2019. All 3 games we didn't hear a lick of information about until last night, until they were ready to show them. And again, I cannot emphasize enough, that is how you should, get hype behind a game and release a game. Because the more you do that, the more you get people into it, that way is so much better. Because I don't want to keep watching trailer after trailer, gameplay after gameplay of Mortal Kombat 11. Just show me the trailer, let me know it exists, release the bad boy, keep it going. Do the Bethesda model, unless, of course, you release 76 and you have to keep showing other games because, people don't like it. Overall, I was not surprised with the Game Awards themselves. I was not shocked that Red Dead Redemption 2 won a ton of awards. I thought it was going to win a ton of awards. I am a little surprised, and I got to give special props. Congratulations to Sony Santa Monica Studios on God of War. Excuse me. It sounded like I got really emotional about that. Congrats on God of War winning Game of the Year. I did not anticipate that. I thought it was going to be a close battle with Red Dead 2. As much as I loved Spider-Man, and I think it's a great game, I thought it was really between Red Dead 2 and God of War. And being vote-based, I'll be honest, I voted for Red Dead 2. I did. Excuse me. But honestly, it was picking between my favorite kid. Because I loved both games so much, and I thought they both had a very pointed, very different experience. And as much as they both had very much the same themes of redemption and your past catching up to you and living with consequences, things like that, as much as those had very similar themes, they were two vastly different games. Two very, very great games. So congratulations to Sony Santa Monica Studios. What a turn of events. I mean, 5 years ago, they were way in development of another game. They completely scrapped it, worked on this. Cory Barlog, everything I've seen of that guy, I've never met him personally, but every time I've seen him talk about this game or any other thing that he talks about online, he seems like a genuinely really good guy, and I'm very happy for him, and I'm glad they won. And, yeah, congratulations. Game of the Year, God of War. Unbelievable. So did any of you guys watch the Game Awards? If you did, what did you think? Any surprises for winners? Do you think Red Dead deserved to win Game of the Year? I want to know. Let me know in the comments down below. What were your big game announcements? Were they all just what I said? Did you have some ones that I left out that you thought were really cool? I want to know about that too. Just comment below. Let me know all about it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm currently working on some things for the format, and I will, when I'm ready to talk to you guys about it, I'll let you know and try to get your feedback and your input on this show, because it's just as much your show as it is my show. And yeah, for updates on that, you can follow us on Twitter at Loud Opinionated. You can like us on Facebook, Loud Opinionated. Also follow the Instagram. I keep telling people, because there's images that keep popping up on there that are really, really cool. And you're going to be really excited for 2019. Yes, Instagram at Loud and Opinionated Pod. And like I said, 2019 is going to be a huge year for Loud and Opinionated. I thought 2019 was a good build, good base. I think we're ending great. I think there's so much awesome content on loudandopinionated.com. We got articles. We got this show. We got so much more stuff coming. A big update's coming. I've been saying that for like 4 episodes now. I can't tell you release date because I'll jinx it. And I want it to be successful. And I want it to go off without a hitch. But yes, there's so much awesome stuff coming. 2019 is going to be huge for us. And I cannot wait for you guys to be there and be along for the ride. If you have anything you would like to contribute to our website, be sure to send that to beloud@loudandopinionated.com. We'd like to be like a blog post, so 300 to 1,000 words, whatever you want to talk about, and we will not silence you. We'll put it up on the site. We'll give you credit. We'll talk about it on social media, and we'll celebrate you, because this is just, like I just said, all of this wouldn't be here without you, and it's just as much your product as it is ours. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.